Hey, how's it going? So today, I want to talk about how Michael Burnham in Star Trek Discovery from Paramount Plus is a terrible sailor. And before I get to that, I want to talk a little bit about what it took. Not like you're going to see is like a great production happen here or anything. It's just going to be as bare bones as always. But I went through some circumlocutions or something. I went through like a bunch of stuff trying to get the information I wanted to present or to help me present well what I want to talk about, which was okay. So, Star Trek is a space opera, right? A space navy opera, you might say. But I wasn't exactly sure if that was the branch of service I wanted to refer to. And so, especially because we recently had our Space Force become public, and I just want to say Trump didn't invent it, it already existed before he came along. It just wasn't, it was secret. It was called the Secret Space Force. And then he just like dropped the secret and was like, Trump invented Space Force. He did not. So, anyway, since that has become a reality for the greater world, I didn't think it was too much of a stretch to ask some actual Navy people about the behavior of the officers in Starfleet, particularly my focus is Michael Burnham, because she is terrible. I'll get to why, but I have to preface some things first. So, I got in touch with the Navy recruiting office. No response at all. Told him what I wanted. Told him I wasn't looking to get recruited, but that I wanted to speak to someone, Navy personnel, so that I could find out whether, like, if there was someone there that was a Star Trek fan, they could just give me their opinion on a few things having to do with the conduct and what the code is. And some of the stuff I can just look up online, but you want to get a person, or I do, for information. That's, I don't know, maybe that's how we don't do things anymore. Everything's so chat, text, like we don't even want to like talk to each other or something. Well, that's obvious. But anyway, I got no answer from the recruiting office. I got online and left a message with like Navy general, just like Navy number, like national, federal, whatever. Nothing from them. I put in a request, just like wrote it out and posted it, that if anybody active or retired in the Navy would like take the time, I would appreciate them let me ask them a couple of questions. Again, crickets and tumbleweeds. Like I told him I wanted to ask him to make a video about Star Trek. So I mean, I recognize that it's not all serious and whatever. Do you not turn that stuff off ever to just like be a human person? So anyway, no one answered me. And a couple of my friends online that are in Great Britain, actually, or in England, like retweeted it, and even no one from their Navy answered. Like, really? I didn't ask for state secrets or to speak to like the brass, because I just want to ask a Navy personnel what they think about this. Oh, hold on, not yet, not yet. Almost started, got ahead of myself. No, before I do, I just want to say, as a follicle focus, what the hell was going on with Michael Burnham's hair in the first two seasons? Like, I kept fixating on how much it looked like, I don't remember the character's name, but in The Fifth Element, Chris Tucker's character, where he had that weird, like, hair helmet wig with the hairy rolled pastry thing. I don't know. It was hollow. It was weird. And so her thing was kind of like that. Like she had the hair helmet thing, but they put the roll like facing upward. Like, like this. That's what her hair looked like. It's crazy. I suppose you could carve your hair into something like that. Like black people, I obviously am black in part. My hair is not, it's not going to take a shape quite that way. Like it'll take a shape. Like if I lean against the wall, I might come away, or I absolutely will come away with flat back of my hair. But also, 5 minutes later, it'll fall back into not flattened wall shape. That I don't think is true with like my cousins whose hair is, some of them, much coarser. And I don't, it's not even that it's coarse. The curls are very much tighter. um, and it's just like kind of stiff, like well, mine's not moving it, but it takes a lot to move it. But if you get it wet, like it'll just fall down. So it's very deceptive. But also, it's, you got to have some really stiff hair for it to maintain the kind of shapes that they had in on Chris Tucker in The Fifth Element, and on, oh my god, I can't remember the actress's name. I know it's Sonequa, but she just got married, so I don't want to get it wrong. But her name, she's got a hyphen now, so I don't want to get her last name wrong. But the wonderful actress that plays Michael Burnham, that hair, and I'm sure she would not disagree, is like, would not exist in life. I really, I don't think, I'm not an expert, I don't know 100%, but since I have this weird thing of paying attention to stuff like that, uh, my contention is that good luck making it look the way those wigs looked. But anyway, that just like obviously really bugged me. Okay, so Michael Burnham, the reason why she's a terrible officer is because she just questions everything her superiors say to her. Like she she will just be, they'll tell her something and she'll be like, but this way, my way, it's like, she won't say my way is better, but she'll like tell you a different way. And they'll be like, but I just gave you an order. And she'll be like, yeah, but my way is better. And she'll just keep doing it until they're like, okay, fine. You better not like make the whole world blow up, but go away, go do it. She's like that persistent, I feel like. And she's very single-minded and determined, and that is a good quality for a lot of reasons, but she doesn't employ it well, because in a lot of situations it is not the best quality to have. And Star Trek Discovery, which is the show this actor and character are in, if you didn't know, are not real. I realize that. I understand that. But some of the things are kind of based in reality. Like Gene Roddenberry, who invented the series, was in the Navy. He has like a Navy structure. The ships are spoken of in nautical terms. So one of the questions I wanted to ask a Navy personnel was, is it Navy if it's in space? And if it's in space, are they still sailors? Simple, dumb question, but it would have informed my presentation, which is why I wanted to know. Also, she just does not do what she's told, or she'll go do it, but then like start doing something else, or change the way that it's supposed to be done. And they'll send her on missions and she'll do something other than what she was sent to do, the way they sent her to do it. And I get infuriated as a viewer, because just, I feel like you are giving your bosses like major heart attacks and ulcers and all kinds of things. Like they got to have hair loss and patches of dry eczema. I don't know. She just is, I feel, so disruptive. But she gets away with it because, on the other hand, she excels at like everything she does. And okay, she's human, right? But her upbringing and background, like all of us, shaped her to be a certain kind of individual, along with the individual characteristics that she came equipped with. So, she's a well-written, intense, very layered character, and she's got a lot going on. And if you think of it in terms of an actual person, you can give some leeway, but then you run into things like, can you do that over and over in the Navy, like in a command structure environment? Can you keep telling your higher ups, no, I'm going to do it my way, or I'm not going to listen to you? And like, okay, here's something that really drives me crazy. At the beginning of the show, okay, there definitely will be spoilers. There is my YouTube disclaimer. Sorry I didn't mention it first. I'm going to spoil something here. When the series first started, you meet her as a convicted traitor to like Earth, United Earth Republic, I guess, or Starfleet. I don't remember which. Probably both of them, all of it. And by the time you get to the end of the fourth season, she is captain of the most important ship in the fleet. And everything that happens in between, I gotta kind of wonder. I mean, I know it's fiction, but I'm like, really? She can do all that and still they're just like, okay, I'm like the admiral of the whole thing, but I'm going to defer to you. Or I'm the president of your organization, but I'm going to defer to you. And it's like, that does not, I know it's not real, but it's like, that doesn't seem real. Like, doesn't seem fake real even. Look at me, I'm going crazy questioning the whole thing. But on the other hand, she's a science officer. Her upbringing is ahuman, atypically non-human-ish. I don't want to spoil too bad. It's hard. But I mean, considering everything that she has to go through to become who she is, it's kind of amazing and interesting and intriguing. I mean, it's a good show. Don't get me wrong. I hope people don't misunderstand me. I love the show. I love the whole Star Trek universe. In fact, it has just been a joy catching up on the Paramount Plus version of Star Trek. And it is attached to the TOS or original series and the ones that came thereafter in analog television viewing. But it is kind of a whole other universe. And there are some like people that came before her, like a Kirk or a Archer or a Pike even, and they do appear in the Paramount universe, but there's two totally different worlds, really. And in the earlier analog world, there are analog versions of Burnham, but man, she is out of control. It's just so interesting to me because I know it's a reflection of the younger writers that have come in with different sensibilities than, like, Roddenberry was probably older than everybody that worked on the show under him, like, or for him. Although some of the TV people higher ups, like producers and executives and things like that, would have been in his age. I think, well, anyway, it was probably like a blend similar then and now, but, you know, I'm more of now, even though I was born more around then. I'm more of now, so I feel like I can see the influence of the younger people writing all of this insubordination and talk back. Like, that was another question I wanted answered. Like, how much of that will the Navy tolerate before you're in brig or you're like cleaning the toilets with a toothbrush or something? I don't know. Never served. Just plain old civilian. Which, by the way, the people in the serving in the military all were prior to joining. Something along the way happens where they become different people. You learn some stuff and you gain some skills, but you're still the same guy or girl. So anyway, that was my whole thing. What is up with the Michael Burnham? Yeah, she does some magnificent things. She's like saves the whole everything, saves the world. She's a magnificent hero, but along the way, I definitely wanted to strangle her or the writers or whatever, because obviously, no matter what she does, she's the star of the show and it's in the script. They're not going to kill her off. That's about all I wanted to say about that. It was just driving me crazy, and I really had to speak on it and get it out of my system. I hope it's useful to somebody for something. And then I wanted to point out something that I thought was kind of funny. You know, we had that hearing about the January 6th thing, and they voted, I guess, whether to subpoena Donald Trump to actually physically come in. And at the end of the vote, I was looking somewhere else as the TV or the phone actually was playing something about it in the background, and I heard him say something about nine eyes and no nose, and I heard nine eyes and no nose. So I drew it. That guy over there, he's Mr. Nine Eyes and No Nose. And his mouth says, "Someone's in big trouble." I thought it was hilarious. A lot of times people do not share my amusement. Amusement. That is my dental work trying to fly around in there. Thank you and good night.